Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Oxford TV here at the Bet-Good sun-drenched Bet Goodwin Oxford Stadium tonight. We've got Rowe Motor Oil Premiership action this evening. We've got the Spires, they're entertaining, the Bet Goodwin Spires, they're entertaining the Curtis Sports BIRMINGHAM Brummies. It's a tricky fixture for these two. They currently sat bottom two places in the league, so points are imperative for tonight for these two. If Oxford can get the victory, they can creep up that table and get towards Killeen in 5th position, and for Birmingham, if they can take the points, then they can creep up towards Oxford and get themselves, you know, nearer and nearer away from the foot of that table. But either way, it's a big fixture for both these teams. They're going to want to win, and looking at both sides, there's a couple of changes, riding orders are slightly different, so we could be in for a competitive and entertaining meeting. The weather's been really good here today. The guys are just out doing the track at the minute. They're getting plenty of water into the surface. So we should have plenty of grip. It should give us a really good surface. And just been chatting off camera to a couple of the riders. And we're talking about potential lines if they get the track right. Jamie and Wayne are out there now putting loads of effort in. If they can get the track right and they can get those lines, it could be really advantageous to a couple of the boys in these pits that really like to drive the fence. Peter Schroeck here. I'm just going to grab a quick Q&A with him. Peter, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Tonight, how's it looking? It's we seem to end up asking the same questions and answering the same questions. Yeah. It's a big win tonight. It's got to be, isn't it?
It's got to be, you know. I mean, for us to be competitive, that's what we got to do. It's a lovely evening. You know, the boys had a couple of weeks off. They've all been racing somewhere else. They've all been riding quite well. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be performing here tonight. So we're going to give it our all like we always do. And I'm still waiting for that bit of consistency, you know, and just push our way right through the end of the season. Try and win some of, you know, most of our, or all of our home meetings, which is important, you know, and then see where we end up.
And a guest this evening, Craig obviously not here.
Yeah, Craig's not here. He had, you know, as far as I know, he's got the COVID. So, you know, I know he's been away on holiday before and maybe caught something at the airport. I don't know. Yeah. You know, it is what it is. But I went pretty quick for Dan Thompson. You know, he needs the laps now as well. He's just come back from his injury. But, you know, he showed over the last couple of meetings that there's no illness there, you know. I think he'll do a decent job for us tonight. I
think he scored 10 last time he was here, so that bodes well.
Yeah, last time he scored 10, and he scored 10 up at Glasgow on his comeback, and he had a decent meeting at Ipswich as well, which is always a heavy track, and you know, he enjoys it here. So hopefully if he pops out the starts, you know, there won't be many people who can catch him around here.
And just in terms of that league table, you know, you're gunning for points every time, we know that. You've only got to get that 4th spot. That's all you're aiming for now. When you've had a difficult start to the season, you kind of forget 1st and 2nd, don't you? And you go, right, 4th. Yeah. That's our target.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I had to do quite a few weeks ago. You know, I sat back and I looked at it and I thought, okay, everybody's, you know, hammering us, like saying, like, you know, we're going to get the wooden spoon, but hang on a second, you know, it's not quite there yet. Yeah. You know, we need to win all our home matches. You know, we're more than capable of maybe going away, nicking some in somewhere along the line, and suddenly you're back in the game. Yeah. We've done it with the Championship, you know, from bottom of the league, we suddenly jumped into 3rd, you know. So it can turn around, and that's why I've got to keep being positive. If I start being negative, then the whole thing falls apart. You know, unfortunately, it's on my head, and you know, so be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just quickly talk before I go. Jonas JEPPESEN last night in the Danish Championship. What a fantastic performance from him. I know he's a cheater, not a spy, but fantastic. Represented Oxford brilliantly last night.
Yeah, great. I mean, he's having a great season, you know. He's doing well in Poland. You know, hopefully we're going to gain from that again. You know, they're going to have their summer holidays now, so hopefully he's not going to miss too many meetings for us. You know, it's unfortunate the way it is, and, you know, but we still want to, you know, support him because, you know, who knows what's going to happen next year with the leagues and one thing and another. So he's a young rider who wants to ride in England. So, you know, if there's any changes next year with the Premiership and Championship, I'd rather have him on my side than not on my side. So, yeah, we're going to work with him and hopefully get the fruits out of it.
Brilliant. Good luck tonight.
We'll
talk to you later on.
See you later.
Legend. Cheers. Brilliant. There's Peter's views. We'll walk down, we'll see if we can't get a word with Chris Adams, Birmingham team manager. He's already said to me no tricky questions, so I'll go nice and easy on him.
Yeah, came down from the fucking stand, so
Sorry chaps, Chris, can I just steal you for 1 second? How are you, mate? You well?
I'm not too bad, thank you, yes.
So no tricky questions. It's tough at the moment, isn't it? But this is a meeting you must be looking at thinking we can get something from this.
Yeah, we need an improvement from our last home fixture. You know, it didn't really go according to plan, but yeah, we're confident tonight. You know, we're all positive. So different day. let's see what we can do.
Absolutely. And just talk to me about Ben Barker. Been reading a lot of the social media posts of Ben. I like Ben. I got a lot of time for Ben. I think he'll be a good signing in reserve. That could be a good move. And it's hard replacing MJJ. We saw him win the Danish Championship last night, so that's a tough one. But Ben, I think, can do very well for you.
Yeah, I think so, especially at home. It'll be interesting to see how he goes tonight. You know, with his first meeting here at Oxford. Certainly, I think at home he's going to be quite powerful at number 6. But we'll just have to wait and see. And yeah. You know, hopefully he can come up with the goods. I mean, it's not a like-for-like replacement for MJJ by any means, but, you know, at the end of the day, he's here. We don't have to sort any visas out for him. His bikes are here. He's got a van. He's got a mechanic. You know, he's ready to go and he wants to race. And if you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen.
Yeah, indeed you will. And logistically, it's a really sensible signing. And just in terms of like Tobiasz, Matej ZAGAR, Paco, do you talk to them about what is now expected of them? Because with no MJJ, Maciej JANOWSKI, you haven't replaced the number 1, so they naturally now have to score points. And it's not like when you have that cushion of a number 1, it makes it a little bit easier, but that's gone for them now. They're the ones that have got to score the points.
They are, but, you know, it doesn't matter what team you're in. If you've got 2 riders that are scoring well, you know, the others are just mucking in with the points, you know. They all know what I don't expect anything from them, but I expect them all to score reasonably on what they're capable of. And if they all chip in with the points that we know that they're capable of scoring, you know, you'll come away with a win.
Brilliant. Good luck tonight, Chris. All the best. Keep chin up, top man. Just see if we can grab a... let's see if we can get Tobiasz MUSIELAK quickly. We'll duck in. Tobiasz, can I grab you for 2 seconds? How are you, my good man? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Track you like here?
Always.
Always?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben Barker coming into the team. He's going to strengthen at reserve, but what it does is it puts a bit more pressure on you at the top end.
I don't know. It's interesting signing, and he's always given 100%. And yeah, we'll see how is he looking on the track.
Fantastic sunglasses, by the way, Toe.
Thank you very much. Best birthday present.
I'm really loving them sunglasses.
Expensive present, always on the list, and wife.
In terms of morale for the team, you know, you're at the bottom, but you know you can get points. You know you can come to places like this and win. Bit more pressure on yourself, maybe Paco, Keynan, Matej to get some points.
I think it's no pressure. As we have pressure, we don't score. So we have to be calm, stress out, and
stay
relaxed, and then we can have fun on the track. So if you have fun on the track, you can score more.
Brilliant. Good luck, Tope. Have a good one. Brilliant. So Tobiasz MUSIELAK, he takes over that number 1 race jacket for Birmingham now that MJJ has gone. He's obviously got the captaincy there as well. He's a great character, very uplifting character. He's got a lot of spirit, and I'm sure he'll try and carry those boys through. Let's just wander up the Oxford side of the pits. Very busy, as you can imagine. All the supporters are in at the moment. We'll keep wandering up, maybe see if we can get a word with Erik or Rohan. Erik, can I grab you for 2? We'll just see if we can't get a quick word with Erik. He's just sharpie in the clutch at the minute. We'll ask him what that's about in a second. So he's been superb at home. We've seen him score 20 points at home. Erik, sorry to bother you, a quick one. Bit of a sharpie on the clutch there?
Yeah, just getting adjusted.
Talk us through that. What's the sharpie? Is that just lining up where the bolts are?
Yeah, obviously you got nuts on the clutch, and you turn them in, and I just mark where they are when the clutch is straight, so I know where they were at the start of the meeting.
Love that. And in terms of yourself, your form this year, are you happy with how you're going for Oxford?
I am, yeah, especially at home. I think I got just under a 9-point average at the moment, so I'm really happy with that. I really improved from last year. Could be a little bit better away from home, but the last away meeting was a while ago at Bellevue, and I already done better there, and also at Birmingham, so I want to keep that going away from home as well.
And do you look at tonight as a must-win, bearing in mind the position of the 2 teams?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, straight answer. He does. Brilliant. Have a great one tonight. Appreciate your time. Fantastic. There we go. There's a view from both ends of the pits. Atmosphere's just starting to build. There's a lot of energy down here as well. And you've got 2 sides that, even though they're at the bottom, their enthusiasm, their energy, and the morale of the team still seems really good, which is testimony to the 2 managers and the 2 sets of riders. So, you know, Heat 1's not far away. And the sun is still certainly shining here over the Bet Goodwin Oxford Stadium. We have the Spires, we have the Brummies. We're done for a 7:30 start here. They'll have a short parade and then we'll get the boys out on track. It's still warm, sun's still beating down, but it looks perfect. The track looks excellent. A lot of work's gone into that this afternoon, and we're all set for an excellent meeting. My name is Lee Kilby. You've just seen me there. Had a nice walk up and down the pits earlier on. Spoke to the vast majority of riders off camera, as well as the few boys that we saw there on camera. And one of the main topics of conversation is this league table. As we can see, the two teams that we're focused on this evening, the Spires and the Brummies, they sit there in 6th and 7th. So it's not where either of them want to be. They've had very, very difficult starts to the season. And as you drop to the total line at the bottom right-hand corner there, 4 points for the Brummies and 6 for the Spires. Neither of them will feel that's good enough at this stage. They'll have all wanted more than that. But it's not over until it's over. The Spires, they've obviously got one meeting in hand on Kingsland above them. If they win today, they can draw in that gap and creep up on the Stars a little bit. And like we said in the intro, Birmingham there, if they can beat the Spires, they can pull themselves up level away from that table towards the Oxford Spires. So there's the two sets of teams. They will be coming out on a parade shortly. They'll come out, get an introduction to the crowd, and then they'll have an opportunity for a minute or so on track just to put in a couple of starts, do a couple of warm-up laps. They can't race in anger, but they are allowed to put the helmets on and test the starts, do some practice starts to see how the clutch feels, and just get a small feel for that circuit. That's the intention on the parade lap. So let's have a look at the two sides, and we will start with the visiting Brummies. Tobiasz MUSIELAK, who we spoke to there, 7-3-1 for Tobiasz. He is now the number one, with MJJ leaving, Maciej JANOWSKI leaving the side. Tobiasz moves now lock, stock and barrel to that number one position. A bit more pressure on him. Paco CASTAGNA at 2. He's done okay since he's come in, Paco. He's been driving for a Premiership spot for some time now, and he's got an opportunity here. He's been going well at Perry Bar. He's just got to try and transfer that form to the away tracks. Jonas JEPPESEN, he was in action last night in the Danish Individual Championship. Only picked up 3 points, but great experience for him. He's in there with some terrific riders, and he'll be hoping to put that into good effect starting here tonight at Sandy Lane. Keynan REW, a man they brought in from Ipswich in a close season. He's been riding really well on the continent, and of his own admission, he's just not been able to really transfer that onto the UK tracks. But he's got everything in his locker to be able to do it. As is this man, Matej ZAGAR, the 6.67 average. For me and most people looking on, you'd expect Matej to have a better average than that, but he's a more than capable rider. Interesting character, Ben Barker. His Brummies, you class it as one of his home tracks, really. He's ridden for them a few times now. And he comes in essentially to replace Michael Jepsen, but not a like for like. So we'll see how he goes from reserve. And Sam Hagon, he's the rising star. He got dropped by Leicester at the start of the season after only a handful of meetings. So he's got an opportunity here coming in for Jason Edwards while Jason's out injured. And Chris Adams, who we spoke to in the intro there, got a tough job on his hands, but he's got a decent set of riders. And if they all hit the ground running, like he says, if I can get 2 scoring big, everybody else will follow. So our own Oxford Spires, Charles Wright at number 1. Recent form, including the GPs up at Bellevue. Manchester, he'll be looking for a good one tonight out there in the number 1 race jacket. Guest at number 2 is Dan Thompson. Dan comes in for Craig Cook, who's suffering with COVID at the minute. We wish him well. But Dan Thompson is an excellent guest to bring in at number 2. Maciej JANOWSKI, he's got that number 3 race jacket again. A man who can always light the track up. He'll be looking for a big score here. From that engine room of the team, alongside Rohan TUNGATE, who started the season at number 1 Rowan, but just hasn't again hit the form that he would have liked and what he did produce last year. His average has dropped a little bit down there, and he finds himself in the number 4 race jacket. Erik RISS, and spoke to him in that intro there. He has had some excellent form around here, including that 20-point haul that he did. He knows what he's capable of, and they need him to be scoring big and riding well. Peter Kildemand, almost too good to be at reserve, Peter, but that's where he finds himself at the moment after a bit of an injury-plagued start back into his UK career. And he's joined by rising star Luke Killeen, obviously a cheater and a spy this year, and a charger as he was last year. And Peter Schroeck, he oversees the side here as he does the other 2 teams. And like Peter said there in the intro, they really have to try and take some points from this tonight. Just to bolster the enthusiasm of the crowd here for the Spires. It's an odd dynamic because I've obviously got 3 teams, but you don't want any of them failing or struggling, and at the moment they want to see a bit more from this Spires set on track. And Pete would be hoping that tonight is the start of that process. So we'll just have the coin toss with the two captains. Tobiasz MUSIELAK, 2 poles tonight. Tobiasz MUSIELAK and Maciej JANOWSKI. Guys that know each other very well. Both capable of big scores. We've seen Toby score big scores, as we have Maciej. So we'll, in a moment or two, when the talking stops, I'll just see if I can listen in, see who wins the toss, see who wins the coin toss and what gate positions are chosen. Last couple of times that Maciej's won or been by default been given that option, he's always taken 1 and 3 in heat number 1. So let's see how this pans out. You can just see along the bottom of the screen, copyright of Oxford TV. Really great that you're joining us tonight, but you've got to buy the stream. It's all owned by Oxford TV. Right, let me just listen in quickly and see if I can catch this coin toss. So Tobiasz MUSIELAK and Birmingham, they win the toss and they've gone for 1 and 3 in heat number 1. That means when we get to the back end of the meeting, that will switch around and Oxford will get the call. And you know what, they've had a couple of close meetings here in the past, so that could prove pivotal. So 1 and 3 for the Brummies. So we'll just quickly go through the two sides, introducing the riders to the crowd. Interested to see how Ben goes. You all know Ben can give 100%, ride any track. Great character Paco, bound to give us a wheelie if he wins a race. And the number 1, Tobiasz MUSIELAK. 3 times Tobiasz has won the top division here, twice for Swindon, once for Sheffield. He's a man that knows how to win the league. It's going to take an astronomical turnaround for the Brummies to do that this year. But, you know, they're only as good as your last meeting. They'll be looking to get a win tonight to kickstart a little bit of a revival. Killeen, always got a smile on his face, always works really hard, always looks on the pace, just doesn't always get the points that he deserves. Just roll through the team there. Erik Rowan, Maciej, Dan Thompson. And of course our number 1, Charles Wright. So there's the 2 lineups. Christina TURNBULL, she's our referee this evening. She'll have her finger on the button. She'll be overseeing the action. She'll be looking to have an easy meeting this evening. No big drama decisions. That's what we want tonight. So as you can see, all the riders, they're just putting a couple of practice starts now. And then whoever's out in heat number 1, they'll be the first ones in, getting themselves ready to go. Christina will get those 2 minutes on, and hopefully these 2 teams will give us a fantastic meeting. And that's the beauty of Speedway, we all know that. You don't necessarily have to have the top 2 teams on track to have an entertaining and enjoyable meeting. You can get that from any Speedway, any teams, anywhere. The sun is really blasting down still here. You can see the shimmering of the track there where they've got some water down on the circuit. Red flags come out. The riders will be making their way around for heat number 1. So these 2 sides, they've already met here this season. It was 49-41 to the home side. It was a really close meeting. Only got away from Birmingham at the end of the meeting. Erik RISS and Maciej JANOWSKI, they both scored 11+2 that day for the home side. And for the away side that day, it was Maciej JANOWSKI, the new Danish champion. He scored 13, and Tobiasz MUSIELAK backed him up with paid 11. So no MJJ tonight, so somebody else is going to have to step in with those big points. Matej ZAGAR, obvious one to look at. Keynan REW, they're the 2 they'll be looking at to try and pile in some big points. And just a head-to-head last year, the meetings here, obviously there was the two meetings last year in the league. It was 47-43 and it was 46-44. So 2 really close meetings. The Brummies pushed Spires all the way, and they're looking to do that again today. Maciej JANOWSKI top scored in both of those meetings. So that's 3 meetings there for Maciej and 3 top scored performances. So they'll want him to produce that again today. Now it's going to be interesting to see how this man goes. Dan Thompson, obviously part of the Thompson twins. His brother Joe's in at Leicester at the moment. But Dan, he was all set, everybody thought, to take that. And to win a British Crown this year up at Glasgow. Hot favourite, but unfortunately a crash early on in his first race. That put that to bed. Broken scaphoid, and he's only come back recently. But he did score 5+1 for Ipswich at home to Leicester the other day in his first one back, and he's also ridden for Glasgow in the Championship. And like me and Peter Schroeck said in that interview, he did score 10 points here early in the season for Ipswich. So it's a track we know he can score well on. And the Oxford fans will be hoping that he can put in a good performance there from that tricky number 2 spot. No easy rides there from number 2, really. No easy rides, and then you get to heat 8, and then the expectation is for you to jump out and do the business. So it's not an easy one either there. So Paco Castagna, he's going to be in yellow in heat number 1. The 2 minutes have been turned on by Christina Turnbull. The riders will make their way out on track. And we'll get this Rowe Motor Oil Premiership clash well underway. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're a regular Oxford fan and you pick and choose when you come to the track or watch us on screen, it's great to have you on board again. If you're a Brummies fan that couldn't make it down in time for tapes up, again, we appreciate you joining us. We hope you enjoy the meeting, and if you're just a Speedway fan in general, it's great to have you on board. We are Oxford TV, so we want to see a strong home performance, but we just want to see good Speedway. We want all the teams to do well, ride well. We want to see good performances. Get ourselves a good meeting. Give me something to talk about. Charles Wright has rolled straight into that gate 4 position. So here we go with heat number 1, which is sponsored by Rowe Motor Oil. We are going to see Paco Castagna in yellow off the inside for Birmingham. Gate 2 will be Dan Thompson, guest today, he'll be in the blue helmet colour. Tobiasz MUSIELAK, he will be in white, captain of the Brummies off gate number 3. And Charles Wright, he will be in the red helmet colour off of gate number 4. At those 2 meetings up at Manchester for the Grand Prix, scored 5 and 3, Charles, in a really competitive, tough meeting. 2 tough meetings then. We'd like to have scored more, but really had a good go at it. We'll be looking to get back into Spires action today and score some big points here for Oxford. So 15 seconds and we will have tapes up on heat number 1. Start marshal just giving the boys a bit of encouragement to get in line. Here we go then. Charles Wright, Dan Thompson, Tobiasz MUSIELAK, Paco Castagna, heat number 1, and away we go. And a drive up into the first turn, and it's the yellow tops of the Brummies that get there first. But Dan Thompson's rode a really clever curve all the way up the inside of Tobiasz MUSIELAK. He followed it through to Paco Castagna, who's looking to repay the favour. Back up the inside on turn 4 from Paco Castagna. Tobiasz MUSIELAK looking to go wider early on, and he might just have made it work. Just doesn't get that run down the back straight, but he's going to go in a bit hotter, a bit deeper, and we've seen that work so many times. Not today. Almost give Charles Wright the opportunity to come up the inside. So it is the number 2s out front. Castagna leads from Dan Thompson. Tobiasz MUSIELAK third, but he's under all manner of pressure from Charles Wright. Close heat this one as we go into the last lap. Dan Thompson's got to be careful because Tobiasz MUSIELAK is on his back wheel, but likewise Charles Wright is on the back wheel of Tobiasz MUSIELAK. It looks like Paco Castagna has done the business and tied this one up. Anything changes, it's going to be in that 2nd place and 3rd place, but no, it's a 4-2 advantage in heat number 1 for the Brummies, exactly what Chris Adams would have wanted. And it's a terrific win for Paco Castagna. He had to fight back to get himself in the position to take the win. And he will give us a lap of honour, Paco. And it is a 4-2 in that opener for the away side. Some good entertainment, nice close race that one. All the boys in with a shout of something. It is the Brummies that do the business, and they get a 4-2 in the opener. Win for Paco Castagna. 2nd, Dan Thompson, the guest today. 3rd was Tobiasz MUSIELAK, under all manner of pressure from Charles Wright. But it is a 4-2 to the Brummies, and they take that early advantage, which sets their reserves up for heat number 2. So it was an even break from the tapes, but as they pulled into that first turn, you can see the two yellow race suits of the Brummies that have got there. But Dan Thompson rides a really tight line, comes back up the inside, and he puts it past Paco Castagna there, but Paco gets that cut back as Dan just drifts across the corner a little bit and that allowed Paco CASTAGNA to come back up into the lead, get his wheels in line here. You just thought Tobiasz MUSIELAK might get that run around the outside. So good, a nice entertaining race to kick us off. Everybody in the mix there for 4 laps with a chance to get some points, and it was a 4-2 to the Brummies, and they'll be happy with that. And I'll tell you what, that is the first heat advantage they've had in a Heat 1 all season away from home, so they'll be absolutely delighted with that, the Brummies. Move on to heat number 2, a minute and a half. 2 minutes are already on, and we see a couple of interesting riders in this one. Keith Cook Construction, they sponsor heat number 2, which sees Peter Kildemand off the inside in red for Oxford. Next to him will be Ben Barker making another debut for the Brummies. Luke Killeen in blue off of gate number 3, and Sam Hagen in yellow off of gate number 4. So what we may well see with this one is a couple of battles develop. If Luke Killeen can make that start, we've seen Luke get quick, we've seen him with speed. If he gets his wheels in line and gets out front, he could absolutely do the business from there. We've just seen Paco CASTAGNA win off of gate 1. That may well favour Paco CASTAGNA, although that may well favour Peter Kildemand, but Paco had to work back into that position. So, and Ben Barker, what can Ben produce? No pressure on Ben, but he's going to want to prove a lot of people wrong. It's a tough ask coming in to replace Maciej JANOWSKI, but he hasn't done that directly. It's been more of a team spot that he's filled. So, an exciting heat number 2. Kildemand, Killeen, Barker and Hagen. Tapes up and away we go, and it's a beauty from Peter Kildemand off the inside. If he just has a look, he might see that his teammate Luke Killeen's trying to come round the outside of Ben Barker. Big turn going into turn 3, sorry, but it is Killeen that comes out in front. Kildemand from Killeen from Ben Barker, and Sam Hagen just tailed off a little bit. But Ben Barker's already putting it out where he likes it in the grip, and he's used that to great effect to get himself back up into second place. Great line there from Ben Barker. He's got his work cut out to catch Peter Kildemand in red. A great gate, but here comes Luke Killeen back up the inside of Ben Barker. Will he get his wheels in line and get a nice straight line up that back straight? Just can't reel him in. So Kildamand's out front from Barker with a lap to go. Killeen in third. Hagen just cut adrift a little bit there at the back. Just starting to settle down now, heat number 2. Peter Kildemand pretty much did the business from the tapes. No disasters on the last turn from him. He's going to take the checkered flag from the battling Ben Barker, from Luke Killeen, and Sam Hagen unfortunately not in the mix in that one. So 4-2 in heat 1, 4-2 in heat 2. The Spires level it up. And a terrific win for Peter Kildemand. Another win off of gate number 1. Peter Kildemand with the win, Ben Barker in second, Luke Killeen third, Sam Hagen fourth. It is a 4-2. That gives us a 6-6 scoreline after the first 2 heats. And a bit like heat number 1, they have not, that's the first heat advantage at home that Oxford have had this season. There's a nice stat for the home crowd. Yeah, great start from Peter Kildemand. You see him trap there, he was away. And Ben Barker again, just a bit like Thompson did in the heat 1, just rides that curb, gets the run up the inside. Luke Killeen was pretty strong going down the back straight into turn 3. And this is when Ben Barker just goes that little bit wider, gets a deeper line into turn 2, and just gets that run around, which we've seen a few times this season already, to get himself back up into second place. So again, bit of action in the opening couple of heats, which is terrific to see. Track offering a couple of lines. Can only bode well for the rest of the meeting as Christina Turnbull. Already 2 minutes on. Guys are back out for heat number 3. Again, we see a couple of big names coming out in this one. Off the inside in white. For Birmingham, the away side will be Jonas JEPPESEN. Off of gate 2 in blue will be Rohan TUNGATE. Gate 3 yellow is Keynan REW. And red off of gate number 4 will be Maciej JANOWSKI for the home side. So Rowan and Maciej, both capable of being number 1s for the home team. They're going to want to put that to good use in this one. Coming up against Jonas JEPPESEN, who has really found great form away from Perry Bar. But has given us some exciting racing. I've seen him a few times this season already. He's an exciting rider. And he's off of that gate number 1, which has given us a couple of heat winners so far. So that may well play into his hands here. And like we were saying, Rowan, he started the season as number 1 for the home side, and then has just tailed away a little bit. but his 10 points last time out was his best return point scoring, so let's see what he can produce in this one. Liquid Screed, they're our sponsors of heat number 3. Start Marshall brings them into line, 6-6 going into heat number 3. A couple of good races so far. Bit of overtaking. Keynan REW's the last one to pull in. Here we go then. Maciej JANOWSKI, Rohan TUNGATE, Jonas JEPPESEN, Keynan REW. Green light is on, tapes go up and away they go. Whoa, Rohan TUNGATE right over the top of Jonas JEPPESEN, but I tell you what, Keynan REW's going to drop it straight back over the top of Rohan. As we go down the back straight into turn 2 for the first time, it is Keynan REW. Very sensible second corner from him, but he's got Spires all over him here. Rohan TUNGATE on the inside, Maciej JANOWSKI on the outside. They both look fast. Jonas JEPPESEN did get beaten up a little bit going into turn 1 by Rohan TUNGATE. Keep an eye on Maciej JANOWSKI. Keynan REW moves out and closes that line. I tell you what, he's got 2 hectic laps ahead of him here, Keynan REW. He's going to have to look over both shoulders to keep the boys behind him because JANOWSKI looks quick. Maciej looking fast. He's changed his line this time up the inside. Can he make that work? Definitely looks quicker than Keynan. Got a little bit deeper this time into turn 2. He's going to get a run. Will he go up the inside? No, he just moves and changes tact at the last minute. Is he going to get the run around the outside on the last corner? Run to the line. Oh, I'm not sure I can call it. I'll tell you what I can call was Rohan TUNGATE 3rd, Jonas JEPPESEN 4th. But there was not much in that on the run to the line. I couldn't call that for a second. Cheer from the crowd tells me it was Maciej JANOWSKI that got it. It was certainly very close on the run. We'll maybe try and pick up on that on a replay once we've gone through the heat result. But a win for Maciej JANOWSKI, another 4-2. 3rd one on the spin. This time it goes in the favour of the home side and they take the lead. Maciej JANOWSKI with the win, Keynan REW 2nd, Rohan TUNGATE 3rd, Jonas JEPPESEN 4th, 4-2 to the home side. 10-8 the progressive score, and a terrific heat for Maciej JANOWSKI there. Didn't give up, was trying loads of different lines, plenty of attack, inside, outside. Here we go, we've picked up the end of the race for you. So he just put it out there a little bit wider, and as they make that run, he just goes wheels in line. Keynan's just coming across. Yeah, it is great stuff from Maciej JANOWSKI. Great stuff from him. Good speedway again. 3 good heats. Credit to Keynan REW. He held him off for almost the 4 laps. And then Maciej JANOWSKI just using his track craft and knowledge on that last corner to change the line. There's sun drenched, like you get a tan. Look at that. You've got any sun cream. It's beautiful here. Enjoying the Speedway 3 fantastic races. Hope you're enjoying it at home as well. We're a minute and 30 away from heat number 4. Riders coming into line. 2 fresh faces. 2 riders we've already seen. So Nuffield Health, they will sponsor heat number 4, and it's going to see Sam Hagen out for his second outing off the inside in yellow for Birmingham. Off of gate 2, Luke Killeen, point first time out, he'll be in blue for the Spires. Matej ZAGAR, first run for him, he's going to be in white off of gate 3. And Erik RISS, red, first run for him, he's going to be off of gate 4 for the Spires. So that 2-point swing has come back now in the favour of the home side. And there was a win off of gate 4 in the last one, but not a win from the tapes. Maciej had to work hard to get himself ahead of Keynan REW. But I tell you what we did see in that last one was a great gate off of 2 from Rohan TUNGATE to get over the top of Jonas JEPPESEN and essentially shut the door on him going into the first turn. Killing off all of his speed, made him change his plans for the first turn, and that almost killed Jonas's race in a heartbeat there. So, as so often happens, this one can turn into 2 separate heats. You've got your 2 heat leaders. Luke Killeen, Maciej ZAGAR, very close to each other there on gates 2 and 3. So here we go, heat number 4. RISS Killeen, ZAGAR Hagen. Green light on, tapes go up. It's an even break, it's a really even break getting into that first turn. All the boys pretty much got there together, and it's really crowded as we come down the back straight for the first time. Sam Hagen did hold second there for a split second. Erik RISS has got himself up into second place. Maciej ZAGAR, he's out front. Erik RISS second. Sam Hagen currently with that important 3rd place. and Luke Killeen at the back. So Luke's going to have to try a few different lines here. But I tell you what, Sam Hagen's looking quicker than he did in that first one, and he's putting Erik RISS under a bit of pressure here. But he's got Luke Killeen to contend with as well. He's going to change up the inside. Sam Hagen's out wider. Matej ZAGAR, he's looking fast out front. He's in control of this race. Sam Hagen just trying to use that outside line on turn 4 a little bit. He's got 1 lap to go. He's got to be a bit careful that he doesn't concede that 3rd spot here to Luke Killeen. He's really working hard to try and get back into that 3rd spot. But I tell you what, I think we're going to have the 4-4-2 of the evening. We certainly do. And he's gone back the other way. Great win for Matej ZAGAR. Tapes the flag really for him. Erik RISS got himself up into 2nd early on. And then Sam Hagen, credit where it's due, put him under all manner of pressure. But for Sam Hagen, holding on to that 3rd spot, that is what would have been asked of him. There we go, Matej ZAGAR with the win for the Brummies. 2nd was Erik RISS, 3rd, importantly, Sam Hagen. That gave the away side a 4-2. Luke Killeen battling away at the back. So 12-12, 4 heats, 4-4-2s, 2 for the home side, 2 for the away side. Some good entertaining speedway so far. Watch this start because they all make it to the first turn together. So it's pretty even going in there, which really pushes Erik RISS wide, and then he's got to battle his way back over the top of Luke Killeen and then round the outside of Sam Hagen. He was almost off the gas there a little bit, Erik, as he's going in there. He's really close to the back wheel of Matej ZAGAR. And then from there, to be fair to Sam Hagen, he really pushed Erik RISS for the full laps. He was riding a little bit wider than he was in an earlier heat. And he was going a little bit wider. We see Paco CASTAGNA, Keynan REW and Matej ZAGAR just talking about the track. It's a track that's given us some lines. It's given us a few overtakes in the first few heats, which is terrific. But Matej ZAGAR, he did the work from the tapes there. And then we can see it, a couple of winners off the inside in those opening couple of heats, and then the outside gates has come into play a little bit. Points spread across all 4 gates at the moment. Obviously that winner from Maciej JANOWSKI for 3 was hard fought. He didn't get it from the tapes, but I would imagine the away side of the pits will be a little bit more happier with the scoreline at this stage. A couple of heat winners, Paco CASTAGNA, Matej ZAGAR. 2 heat winners for the home side in Maciej JANOWSKI and Peter Kildemand down at reserve. So pretty even stuff so far. Good racing. There's Maciej, as he always does. After every heat, Maciej dives straight back into the pits, grabs his notebook and his pen, makes a note on gearing, setups, lines. A lot of the riders probably do it, but we tend to see Maciej quite a lot. Dive back in. Peter Kildemand, he'll be happy with that opening heat. There's Gareth there he's talking to. Peter very happy with that opening heat. We won't see Peter Kildemand again until heat 7. But he's one of those riders, you know, we've seen it this year with Chris Harris starting the season for King's Lynn Reserve. When you get a rider that's capable of beating anybody, as Peter Kildemand is, you can see him 7 times tonight. He can swap out for both reserves. He can swap out for Luke Killeen and then anybody in the top end of the side. So if someone's not really on the money, you can use that reserve up to 7 times. Ben Barkey will be pleased with that. 2 points in his opening ride. Rohan TUNGATE started the season at number 1, Rowan, and just couldn't really get going. The 2-time Aussie champ, just couldn't get going. He was struggling. He didn't have the engine that he had last year, and then we saw him get on an engine that, you know, he was happy with, and boom! So suddenly he was going for it. So Dan Thompson, solid 2nd in his opening ride. The rider that rode for me in Swindon Sprockets for a couple of challenge matches back in 2019 when him and his brother were very young. And this has been the year for Dan that he's really kicked on. So you can still see the Sharpie lines there, look. So you can see the Sharpie lines where Erik has lined up the bolts. I imagine a lot of riders might do that, but I've never actually seen one doing it like we did on the top of the show there. Watching an old world final from Munich a couple of days ago, where Erik's dad Gerd was in it. Gerd RISS, fantastic rider. Pineapple Kid, Luke Killeen. Always keeps his chin up. That's what I like about Luke. You know, he's excellent 1 point in his in that heat number 2, and then from there, every heat is a battle. Every heat is a tough one. The gates don't always fall in your favour. So he's off gate 2 in his second one, where we haven't really had much. We have no winners from 2 so far. But Charles Wright, he failed to score in his opening ride. He'd be disappointed with that. His teammate Dan Thompson did pick up the second. In the Birmingham end of the pits. And Nigel Tolley there on the right of the screen with a cap on. He's the man at the helm at Birmingham, who's kept this club going for a couple of years. Obviously we know that sadly it's not going to continue past the end of this season, but we do take our hat off to Nigel, doing what he does, keep the club going. And he gives you 100% every single time. And Barker. Mixed reviews I read on Ben's inclusion in the team, and it's a bit of a distorted one really, because he's coming in to replace an out-and-out number 1 new Danish champion, the man who's going to be in the GPs now following his victory last night. But he's not coming to replace, it's just a place in the team, and you reshuffle the order because it's so difficult. You know, there aren't riders like Matej ZAGAR out there that can come in anymore. You know, the top boys are all riding somewhere else, so they don't have the freedom to step in to the UK. So Ben took the call. He comes in at reserve, shuffles everybody up the order a little bit. There's maybe a bit of pressure on Jonas JEPPESEN, who now moves into the engine room with Keynan REW. But Sam Hagen, he'll be delighted with that point. Really happy with that. And as a rising star, 2 or 3 points, that's your target. That's what you've got to get. That's what's expected of you. And that's what they'll all be looking to do. There's their Mini Cooper factory just across the way, Mini on the roof. Doesn't actually go anywhere, that Mini, funnily enough. And there's our tractors on track. So a couple more laps from Jamie and Wayne with the Bowser in the tractor. Track's riding nice so far. Hopefully the boys have had a chat with Jamie and Wayne about it. Not too much needed to be done. I did a track walk earlier on, it did look good out there. So, looks like we are all set for a really close competitive meeting. It's funny because you want your team to win. I imagine both of these sets of fans just want to see their team hammering a few 5-1s and pull away. For all the neutrals out there and those that just enjoy the good racing, you just want to see a nice close meeting with the scoreline ebbing and flowing, and a nice close finish. We obviously can get super heats with no draws this season, so if it's 45 apiece at the end, we will go to a super heat. But got a long way to go before we get there. And just a big shout out to our sponsors this season. Cheetahs, they're sponsored by SD Timo Car Sales. The Spires, obviously backed by Bet Goodwin, who look after the stadium here as well. And the Real Mini Company, they look after the Chargers in the National League. Couldn't do what we do without their support, as with all the race sponsors as well. I was talking to Jamie Lee, he's the DJ on the centre green. He plays the music and looks after that side of the production here. He's obviously a DJ as well. He's a Sparky by trade, but he's DJ, and he's got quite a bit of work and bookings off the back of working here at the stadium and doing what he does in the centre green, which is great. But again, he puts that bit in to get that bit back out. So, tractor's pulling off. Jamie's done his bit. We're going to move on to Heat 5, where we are going to see a heat winner in Maciej JANOWSKI. We're going to see a heat winner in Paco CASTAGNA. And a couple of riders in Rowan and Tobiasz MUSIELAK that picked up third places. So someone's going to score a 0 for the first time this evening. Peter John's engine, I think, possibly there. His bike. So we will be showing all of the home meetings this season, unless TNT are in town or BSN. If they're not here, we will be enjoying our speedway. Great shot of Magic, just keeping an eye on the track. Bowser is just going to do turns 3 and 4. And then we'll be pulling in. And cracking on 5. So I was watching the saw a few heats from the Danish individual championship last night, which, as we already said, was won by Marco Jensen. And the riders actually wear, it's kind of a, what do you call it, cable coil on the side of the helmet, which is all to do with their tear-offs. You saw that on the goggles there. It's an environmental measure, apparently. Very interesting. I've not seen that before. Certainly haven't seen it over here. And there was a meeting, in fact, that saw Niels Christian Iversen, obviously at King's Lynn, rode really well last night, and he actually in the final, he crashed going into the first turn, and then he crashed again in the second staging of the final of that meeting. Same format kind of as our British final, but he actually got hit by a stone that went through the gap between the goggles and the helmet, caught him on the head, and literally split his head open. So a really freak stone on the track that got picked up by MJJ's back wheel, went in between, like I say, the goggles and the helmet of Niels Christian. So we wish him all the best. So that's not too bad. He did post a picture of himself on Instagram with a big fat plaster over his eye. And it would appear that we'll have another quick lap. You can see the back wheel of one of the boys' bikes there, Tobiasz MUSIELAK. A lot of conversation about tyres. Anybody that was up at Manchester for the GPs might have seen in the little small fan village they did behind the stadium, Ty Woffenden doing a bit of a burnout, which unfortunately he took the burnout to the extreme, and the tyre blew and whipped his backside into all manner of colours, unfortunately. I did actually screen grab the image, and one of my lads was flicking through and was like, Dad, why have you got a picture of a man's bum on your phone? But there was a reason, it was Ty Woffenden. And it was because of the burnout. That was the main reason. Honest. Right, here we go. Is he still out? Is he packing? He might be packing now. So there's no water coming out. Look, we can see there's no water from the back of the Bowser. So whether he's just putting in a couple of packing laps there. As we see. Magic steel shoe. I've seen quite a few steel shoes come off this season, 2 or 3 actually. And as soon as that steel shoe comes off, it's a game changer in terms of on track, because you can't slide your left peg, can't put that foot down. So you almost end up with a, not an impossible ride, but a really uncomfortable ride where you're almost leg trailing. And you can't slide that foot over. And you can see the curvature at the front of the boot. Does the slide and that comes off. Your foot doesn't slide. And yeah, we've seen a couple of riders lose points this season because of that. So it looks like we are finally going to get cracking with heat number 5. Right, see what's going on there, but Ben's filling out that guest jersey for the Brummies. So here we go, 2 minutes are on. We can talk about Speedway racing again, rather than need time filling. Thanks for your patience. You had more than enough time to go and grab a cup of tea or a beer, if that's what you wanted. And Rowan is super keen. He's already at tapes. He couldn't wait to get going. So a good strong heat, this one. JANOWSKI, Tungate, MUSIELAK and Castagna. That's a strong heat. Everyone scored in their opening ride. So it was a 2-4, then a 4-2, then a 4-2, then a 2-4. 12-12 after 4 heats. These boys don't want this to be even. And these 4 on track are going to be looking to make a change. Maciej JANOWSKI, he's a winner, first time winner out. He's off the inside in red. Paco CASTAGNA, winner first time out, he's going to be in yellow off gate number 2 for the Brummies. Rohan TUNGATE, 1 point in his opening ride, he'll be in blue off of gate 3. And Tobiasz MUSIELAK, similar story, 1 point for him, he will be in white off of gate number 4. 10 Tools, they sponsor heat number 5 here. And it's a heat number 5 where will we get a break in the 4-2s? We've got 4 riders capable of winning the heat. We've had gate wins off of 1, 3 and 4. Paco CASTAGNA off of 2. Can he make the track get over the top of Maciej JANOWSKI and clamp him? Here we go. So 10 Tools, they sponsor Heat 5. 10 Tools, fantastic sponsors of Speedway. Up and down the country, individual riders, clubs. We'll probably do a heat at every track, I would imagine, pretty much. So we've only got 15 seconds to go in. No one looks really ready to go. Start marshal, you've got your work to do here. You've got 10 seconds to bring those boys into line. Maciej JANOWSKI, Rohan TUNGATE, Tobiasz MUSIELAK, Paco CASTAGNA. Here we go, 12-12, heat number 5. There's the green light. Oh, a bit of a nibble for Rowan, but he's done himself no favours there. So, Christina TURNBULL, you have a decision to make. Rohan TUNGATE did have a little nibble at the start there. That is what put him a tiny bit behind the other three. And did he lean in onto Paco CASTAGNA? You can see the little nibble there, and he's coming across. Interesting. Christina TURNBULL has a decision to make. Is first bend bunching deemed that close to the tapes? That is the decision she's going to have to make. You can see the clear movement there from Rowan, and he's behind the other boys there. Has Paco come across a little bit onto Rowan's line, or is Rowan moving across into the back end of Paco? Can't see a light on at the moment. But guess what? It gives me another time to talk, not about the racing. So let's wait and see. It just gives the boys a minute or so just to, I'm hoping that 2 minutes comes on pretty quick. We get these guys back to tapes. So the clutch coolers will be out, as we can see there. And then we might just tighten the clutch a little bit. It slackens off with every start. I'm not seeing a light on here. Rowan's not going anywhere, so it might be all four back in. Possibly might have looked like that. A little bit of gamesmanship, maybe from Rowan, knowing that he'd missed the boat going up into the first turn. Jake Barrett there, mechanic for Rowan. Luke Killeen, many hands. Erik there as well. But we are going to go with all four. It's going to be a rerun. Stoppage caused by a first bend bunching type incident. So some referees might have looked at that slightly different. Christina on this occasion. So you can see the clutch cooler there. Only earlier on today I saw Nikolai Klint post a new version of the clutch cooler which clamps onto the top of the casing there over the chain guard. So rather than having it sat on the floor there, it clips on, turn it on and adjust. So you obviously have no gap between the cooler and the clutch, so it's directly on. So in essence, I suppose, deemed to work better because there's no gap between the two. You might see some of them start to bounce around the pits in the upcoming meetings. There is Christina, Rob, our cameraman as well. There's Christina. So the starts, so you know, we say the referee releases the tapes, not necessarily anymore. A lot of the tracks now, most supposed to have the timers, so it is just a button that Christina presses, and then the system dictates whether it's, you know, a second, 2 seconds, half a second. So the guys have just got to be ready now. Gone are the days of my dad counting 1, 2, 3. So as we look down there, there's one anomaly to this 4-rider race. I can see 5 bikes on the track. So someone's prepping just in case. Is it a second? So here we go then. So so I think we can see Charles Wright, who's out in heat number 6, who thinks this is his heat. So that's Charles there. Oh, maybe he's just doing a practice start and he's going to go back in. Okay, that's good then. I've never seen that before. 5 bikes on. I was like, hold on a minute. This is a new element of the sport I didn't know. So we've got a rerun of heat number 5. Teng Tool sponsors heat number 5. Maciej JANOWSKI red off the inside for Oxford. Gate 2 Paco CASTAGNA yellow for the Brummies. Gate 3 Rohan TUNGATE 1 point in his opening ride, and Tobiasz MUSIELAK 1 point in his opening ride. He'll be in white off of gate number 4. It was Rowan that came down on that entry into the first turn. Christina TURNBULL deemed it unsatisfactory. He gets another crack of the whip. He did have a little bit of movement. I didn't see a warning board come out there from the start marshal. I might have just missed that while we were talking about the riders in the race. But I would imagine he got a warning board for that one. I've written that in my programme anyway, so hopefully that's not wrong, because I don't like making mistakes in my programme. I dare say it will happen by the time the 8:15 rolls around. So, here we go then. It seems like it has taken forever to get this heat number 5 off and running. We still haven't completed it, but it looks like we might just start it for the second time. See what happens to this 12-12 scoreline. Maciej JANOWSKI, last one into line. Okay, here we go, heat number 5. Green light comes on, second time of asking, let's see what happens. Tapes go up, and Rohan's taking advantage into that first turn. Maciej JANOWSKI inside, Rohan TUNGATE outside. They've got the drive going down the back straight into turns 3 and 4 for the first time. Keep your eyes on Tobiasz MUSIELAK. He looked to switch up the inside, and Maciej JANOWSKI there, but could not make that work. Maciej just drifts across that corner a little bit. That'll give Tobiasz MUSIELAK the opportunity to get his wheels in line and just draw him in a little bit. But Rohan TUNGATE, he's taken full advantage of that second chance. He's out front, he's leading this race. Maciej JANOWSKI second, Tobiasz MUSIELAK, he's the one with work to do in third place. Paco CASTAGNA, winner first time out, he's right at the back in this one. And I don't think he's going to trouble the scorers. So with a lap to go, Rohan TUNGATE, Maciej JANOWSKI, they're on a 5-1 for the home side. It does look like they have now just put this one to bed over Tobiasz MUSIELAK, who hasn't stopped working. He's not been more than a couple of bike lengths behind Maciej, but it's a big 5-1, first one of the evening. And it goes to the home side, and it goes to Rohan TUNGATE from Maciej JANOWSKI. Tobiasz MUSIELAK trying everything there in third place. So, 2 rides in, Maciej JANOWSKI is unbeaten. It's good to see for the home side. Come round to take the plaudits from the home crowd. And that is terrific to see. Win for Rohan TUNGATE, second for Maciej JANOWSKI, Tobiasz MUSIELAK third, Paco CASTAGNA fourth, 5-1 to the Spires over the Brummies. That now gives them a 4-point lead, 17-13, as we move into heat number 6. So Rohan had a bit of nibble first time round, didn't make no mistakes second time, great gate from him. Whether Paco just missed it a tiny bit that made the Oxford boys look like they trapped a bit better or not, it's hard to say. But once they were there, the wheels were in line. Tobiasz MUSIELAK, yeah, just thought he was going to look up the inside. That line just not paying off at the moment. Then we can see the ruts developing on the start line, so the boys will come round, have a quick assess, pick a rut, and that's when they get off the bike and start dragging the dirt over, packing it in, just to try and get as much grip as they possibly can off that back wheel as they come out the start. So there is Charles Wright. I thought he was going to attempting to come out for heat number 5, but he is out in heat number 6. He's going to be joined by Dan Thompson. And yeah, another strong heat this one. Any of these 4 could pop out the truck here and win this one. The Real Mini Company, they sponsor heat number 6. We're going to see Matej ZAGAR, winner first time out, white helmet colour off the inside for Birmingham. Gate 2, Charles Wright failed to score first time out, he'll be in the red helmet colour for Oxford. Ben Barker, he picks up a second first time out, he's going to be in yellow for gate number 3. Likewise, Dan Thompson, he picked up a second, he's going to be in blue off of the outside. So 4 riders, all very capable of winning this. We still haven't had a winner off of number 2. So Charles Wright, after a tough opening ride, he finds himself on the gate that's not delivering at the moment. A couple of winners off of 3. So 1 and 3 is the place to be at this moment in time. And that's where the Oxford boys find themselves. And even though Ben Barker is a reserve, we all know what Ben's capable of. We've seen it in the past. He's been around for a little while now. Ben, he's 100%er. He never gives anything other than that on the track, and he's going to be looking to put it here to the strong home pairing of Charles Wright and guest Dan Thompson. So 30 seconds and counting. 17-13, just a bit of a gap for the home side. What can the Brummies produce? Can they hit back? Charles Wright, Dan Thompson, Matej ZAGAR, Ben Barker. Heat number 6. Takes go up and away we go. Matej ZAGAR's missed it off the inside. But I tell you what, Charles Wright hasn't, but watch Ben Barker. Will he get that run? Oh, he's really close to the base of the fence there, but he's carrying bags of speed. Charles Wright moves across to stop the line of Ben Barker there, very clever. And Dan Thompson, well, he's not too far away of Matej ZAGAR in 4th place. So, a couple of races developing. Dan Thompson up the inside of Matej ZAGAR, who lifts, but then puts it back over the top of Dan Thompson to hold on for the moment to that 3rd place. But Charles Wright out front. Are we going to have a winner off of 2? It looks like we might well do. Ben Barker, he's on the pace in 2nd. But Dan Thompson, he's really putting it to Matej ZAGAR in 3rd. He's just changed to the outside line. Matej ZAGAR's hugging the curb. Will Dan Thompson get the run around him? I think he might go down into the last lap. Matej ZAGAR back up the inside. Keep an eye on Dan Thompson. He will come over the top of Matej ZAGAR here. Can he hold it? Can he grip that inside line, or will Matej ZAGAR throw it back at him? It's a win for Charles Wright, and it is a 3rd place for Dan Thompson. Hats off to him. Kept me talking for that entire race. Dan Thompson, another good heat. Win for Charles Wright. Excellent 3rd place for Dan Thompson over Matej ZAGAR. And like we were saying there, anybody could have won that one. Anybody could have come last in that one. But it's another 4-2. 5 out of 6 heats finishing 4-2. Well done, Charles Wright. He comes round. Changes he made obviously worked for him in that one. Because it was a win for Charles Wright for the home side. Ben Barker, solid 2nd place. 2nd one of the afternoon for him. Dan Thompson worked really hard, changing lines over Matej ZAGAR to get that 3rd place, to give the Brummies a 4-2, to give it a 21-15 scoreline. An excellent heat from Dan Thompson. Great start off a 2 from Charles Wright. And then looking here, I just didn't know whether Ben Barker would carry this speed. And just keep an eye on Ben, because he does put it in there deeper than everybody else. But Charles has already moved across onto that deeper line, and that stops the run of Ben. But you can even see from here, Dan Thompson is all over the back of Matej ZAGAR, inside, outside. That shows the level that Dan Thompson's got himself to in this league, that he's put in a heat leader for Birmingham under that pressure, and pushing him all the way, and eventually got himself into that 3rd place. Matej ZAGAR didn't know whether to look inside or outside, because that line is working. There is an inside line and there is an outside line. He's using it to full effect. This is where he makes that run around, and that's essentially where he did the work there. And you've got to be brave coming back over the top of your opponent there. Just keep an eye on Dan here, look. He's kept that speed up, and over the top he came. Excellent 3rd place for him. And he gave the home side a 4-2. He's given them a decent lead at this stage of the meeting. So we're at tapes ready to go. Henley and Son Leadwork Specialists, they sponsor Heat 7 here. Erik RISS red off the inside for Oxford. Jonas JEPPESEN white, gate 2 for the Brummies. Peter Kildemand winner first time out, blue for Oxford, gate 3. And Keynan REW yellow, 2 points so far for him. He'll be in yellow off of gate number 4. So 21-15, just a bit of a gap creeping now for the home side. Will it give Chris Adams something to think about? He's not going to want to let that lead get away from him in the first half of this meeting. He has a little bit of work to do at this stage, but again, we've got a heat here. Erik RISS more than capable, Peter Kildemand more than capable. They'll be happy with this, the home side, on current form. But in Keynan REW, the other man who really put it out there in his first heat. Let's see what it brings. RISS, Kildemand, JEPPESEN and REW. 21-15, heat number 7. Start marshal. Yep, we're ready. Here we go. Green light on. Tapes go up and away we go off the inside. Gates 1 and 3 for the home side, working fantastically well. But this is where it gets congested. Keep an eye on yellow. Jonas JEPPESEN has to come right off the gas, but Keynan REW didn't. He's on the back wheel here of Erik RISS. Peter Kildemand out front. Erik RISS second. Keynan REW third. This could be a huge 5-1 for the home side. But Keynan REW is not going to let it go easy. Again, he's just looking inside, outside. What lines can he take? Peter Kildamand's really wide. Erik RISS is more narrow, going around to turns 3 and 4. Just starting to pull away a little bit. Home side looking to take complete control of this meeting with this heat. It doesn't look like the Brummies here in this one have got any answer to Peter Kildemand, looking stylish out front. Erik RISS is just comfortably sat in behind him. And I tell you what, it's going to be a huge 5-1 here for the home side. Second one of the evening. Kildemand takes the checkered flag from RISS. Keynan REW in third. And that is a big 5-1 in the context of this meeting. gives a big 10-point lead as we move into heat number 8. Home riders coming round to take the applause. Always like to see that. Back wheel from both of them. Love to see that as well. Peter Kildemand with the win, Erik RISS in second, Keynan REW third, Jonas JEPPESEN fourth, second last place for him, 5-1 to the home side, 26-16, 10-point gap as we move into the protected heat number 8. So 1 and 3, they're the gates that are working at the moment. You can see that great start from the Spires pair there. This is just where you wonder whether Keynan REW in yellow is just going to get that run, or it just lifts a tiny bit, maybe that put Peter to any kind of deeper run into turn 3. But Jonas JEPPESEN is just not enjoying his afternoon so far. 2 last places for him. He's struggling a little bit, but the home side certainly weren't struggling there. Looked really fast, really in control. Peter Kildemand using a wider line. Yeah, we are going to have a track grade before heat 8, so just give us the opportunity just to take breath and just have a quick talk through. We'll go top to bottom. Tobiasz MUSIELAK with a couple of third places, 2 points for him. Good win first off Paco CASTAGNA, then followed it up with a last place. 3 points on the board, nothing for Jonas so far. He's got to make some changes. Keynan REW 3 points in both his rides, but on the wrong end of a 5-1 there. Matej ZAGAR, the same as Paco CASTAGNA, win first time out, followed by a last. Getting done by Thompson in that last one. Ben Barker, leading scorer so far, 2 solid second places for him. And then Sam Hagen with a very good third place over Luke Killeen. That was what would have been expected for him in his second ride. And for the home side, a slightly better picture. Charles Wright, last and then a win. Made some changes and made them work. Good guess so far, Thompson, points in both of his rides, 3 points for him. Unbeaten, Maciej JANOWSKI there at number 3, 5+1 for him. Rohan TUNGATE only dropped a point so far. 2 points, 1 to opponent, 4 points for him. Erik RISS unbeaten. Oh no, he did get beaten his first one. It is Peter Kildemand that's unbeaten there. Erik RISS 4+1, Peter Kildemand on 6. And Luke Killeen, similar to Sam Hagen, both the Rising Stars have got a point and a last so far. Haven't beaten each other. So this will just give everybody the opportunity to make some changes, look at setups, whether we'll have as longer track grade as we did before, I don't know. So that's Charles. Charles was out, like we said, we had 5 bikes on track at the start of heat number 5, and Charles was just putting in a couple of starts. He was obviously doing some in-depth work there to the bike. But we have got winners across the board now, a couple off of the inside. We have had 1 off of 2 and 4, but 3 off of gate 3, so it's definitely 1 and 3 that are working at the moment. They're the gates that are giving us the main points. So that's the place that you want to be. So the home side, they have got 1 and 3 in the next 3 heats. So that could really be a massive game changer. There's a carb there, just doing a bit of work. Charles Wright. Did something between those 2 heats that obviously worked, because he ran a last and then he picked up a great win and looked fast. Just change that edge as well on that back tyre. Charles has got a couple of heats, he's not back out until heat number 10. Got that market clutch cooler there, that's for sure. And that one. All a similar style, some just a bit better than others. You can see our Oxford links there across the bottom of the screen. All our socials. Follow what's going on at the club. We've obviously got our 3 teams. Transponder there tucked underneath the covers at the front. Every bike's got to have one of them there. It's the rider's responsibility to charge it, bring it, look after it. If they don't, they get a fine, I believe. So yeah, plenty of work going on for Charles at the moment, but he's got the time to do it with this gap, and then he's got heat 8 and 9 to come before he's back out. We haven't got the grader coming out this time. It just looks like a bit of water on the outside line, so the grip's moving out towards the fence. Magic unbeaten so far. He's got that in the locker every week. Sometimes you just watch Magic and he doesn't look like he's on it like he can be, like you know he can be, and today he's absolutely on it, which is wonderful to see. So we get the protected heat number 8 next, which we'll see. Always sees the number 2, and it's got to be a reserve. So you can see Luke Killeen, he's going to be coming out, and it'll either be Sam Hagen or Ben Barker. But you can't make a tack sub, so as an example in this one, because they're 10 behind, you know, Chris Adams, he can do some work with the team, he can make a couple of changes, but he can't do it in this one. He couldn't bring in a Tobiasz MUSIELAK or a Matej ZAGAR into this one. But in Dan Thompson and Paco CASTAGNA, you've got riders 3 points each for them two at number 2. Third place for Luke Killeen, and if it is Sam Hagen, a third place for him, and I think it's going to be Sam. I think we're going to see the programme as we are. Bowser just putting a bit of water down. There's plenty of grip. I walked the track earlier on, and when I walked up to the fence, there's plenty of material out there. It's just whether that binds and gives that traction and that grip. Some tracks have a clay base to them, which really offers that element of traction and power. Sometimes it can, depending on the weather, you know, if it's hot, dry day, that can just produce more of a dusty, powdery kind of material. So there is one other meeting going on in the top flight this evening. Which is going out on BSN this evening. So if you've joined us, thank you very much. Not there is any competition between the two. But the boys at BSN, they're the boys and girls at BSN. They're meeting up at Sheffield this evening in the KO Cup. And I tell you what, it's not going Sheffield's way. 19.29 at this stage, which means it's 55.83 on aggregate. So Sheffield look like they are going to bow out of the KO Cup this evening. Jack Holder last place in heat number 1, which was a big 5-1 for the away side, Max Frick and Cole Howarth. And just looking down the order there, Max Frick's got 7 points from 3 rides, Ryan Douglas has got 8 points from 3 rides, and for Luke Becker's rider replacement rides, they've got 5, paid 6 from 2 rides. So, and I tell you what, shout out for Joe Thompson, 3 third places, 1 paid for him, so he's on paid 4. That's his best return so far for Leicester. We've obviously got Dan, his brother, here riding on screen for us today for the Spires, but Joe Thompson putting in one of his better performances for Leicester there away at Sheffield, so hats off to him. For the home side, Justin Sedgman's got 6 points from his 3 rides. He's actually top scoring for Sheffield so far. So, back to action here. And boys are coming back out on track. There we can see Paco CASTAGNA and Sam Hagen for the away side. Luke Killeen already on track. Dan Thompson making his way round. So it's 26.16, so there is work to do for the Brummies. Schroeck will be delighted with this because he would not have wanted anything other than a victory in this meeting. You have to give respect to every opponent. So here we go. Heat number 8, sponsored by Abingdon Beds. Luke Killeen off the inside, 1 point for him so far. He beat Sam Hagen. Off of gate 2 in yellow, 1 point for Sam Hagen so far. He beat Luke Killeen. Off of gate 3, we've got 3 points for Dan Thompson. He's in red for the home side. And 3 points for Paco CASTAGNA. He'll be in white off of gate number 4. So, it's pretty even Stevens when it comes to the points on the board for these 4 riders. What can they produce on track? Again, you tend to think that the likelihood is Dan Thompson and Paco CASTAGNA, but we saw Sam Hagen, who looked much faster in his second ride, and Luke Killeen, who we've seen pop out of the trap here and beat some superb riders, whether it's for the Cheetahs or the Spires. We know what he's capable of. So this heat can go either way. So 20 seconds to count until this tapes up on this one from Christina TURNBULL. A relatively straightforward evening so far on the button. Start Marshall's had his work out in every race. He's working again here to try and get the boys in line. So the Brummies need something. Can they get it from this heat number 8? Thompson, Killeen, CASTAGNA, Hagen, heat number 8. Green light comes on, tapes go up, and away we go. And it's gates 1 and 3 that are working a dream. But Paco CASTAGNA, he's out in that deeper stuff. Will he come back up the inside here off Dan Thompson? He's put it to him, but he's had to get off the gas a little bit. But he's got to run up the curve. He does like it down there. Paco can use that to great advantage. But let's talk Spires. Luke Killeen, he's out front. Made a great gate. Dan Thompson's tucked in behind him. This will be a massive morale booster for Luke Killeen if he can hold that hold that first place. Dan Thompson, very sensible head on Dan Thompson's shoulders. He'll tuck in there into second and just hold on to that second place. He won't look to get around Luke Killeen. To be honest, I don't think he could anyway. Luke's looking really fast out front. Paco CASTAGNA try as he might inside outside. He's not gaining any ground on Dan Thompson. And this looks like it could be a meeting-changing, game-changing 5-1. Second one on the spin, third one of the evening for the home side. Luke Killeen takes the checkered flag from Dan Thompson. Excellent 5-1 for the home pairing ahead of Paco CASTAGNA and Sam Hagen. And in the context of this meeting, that does just really, really change the outlook. As the home pairing come round to take that checkered flag. Great win for Luke Killeen, solid, paid second. There we go, Luke Killeen with the win. Dan Thompson sat in behind his teammate, followed him home for a big 5-1 over Sam Hagen. Was Paco CASTAGNA third in that one, Sam Hagen fourth? Paco might have picked up that third place. But anyway, 5-1 to the home side, that's for sure. That makes it 31-17, the progressive score. And the home side now looking comfortable. The away side have got to hit back, and they've got to hit back now. Here we can see it from the tapes. Gates 1 and 3 are working so well, and the home side have got that in the next 2 heats as well before it switches back to the Brummies. But Paco CASTAGNA, he really tried here. He was pushing hard, inside, outside, but as the race developed, he just could not. I thought he might make that run there up the inside of Dan, or at least put him under a bit more pressure. And then he switched to the outside here. But you've got to be careful when you switch from inside to outside here, especially in turns 1 and 2. If you go across track, you just lose forward traction. You've almost got to go in deeper and try and carry it. But it's one of those. You try sometimes, it doesn't work. You can put your race to bed, and in a heat sponsored by Abingdon Beds, that's pretty much what happened there for the Brummies. So a big 5-1 to the home side. We move swiftly on with heat number 9, and it's another strong pairing. SD Timo, Car Sales, they sponsor heat number 9, which is Rohan TUNGATE off the inside in blue for the home side. Matej ZAGAR, he's going to be in white off of gate 2 for the Brummies. Maciej JANOWSKI unbeaten so far, paid 6 for him, red helmet colour gate 3, and Ben Barker 4 points for him, 2 solid second places. He can be in yellow off of gate number 4. So tactical changes available now for Chris Adams, but you're not going to do it in this one because you've got Matej ZAGAR who's won a heat already, and you've got Ben Barker who's had a couple of excellent second places. But I think the issue that they're finding at the moment is they are off of gates 2 and 4, and that is tricky at this moment in time. There was a gate winner off of 2, which was Charles Wright in heat number 6. But aside from that, it's been slim pickings from those 2 gates. And in Rohan TUNGATE, winner last time out. You can see some of the home crowd. See a couple of Brummies shirts in there as well. Bottom of the screen there we see Tracy, big Brummies fan. Great to see her down here today. She's going to be hoping that Ben Barker here and Matej ZAGAR, 2 riders capable of winning the heat, that they can get something here over Rohan TUNGATE and Maciej JANOWSKI. But those 2 boys are flying. And they're going to look to carry that on here. Unbeaten so far, Maciej JANOWSKI, can he carry that on? Can Ben Barker get anything other than a second place? Let's see. Heat number 9, 31-17, tapes go up and away we go. And what can you say, gates 1 and 3, but keep an eye on Matej ZAGAR up the inside. Rohan TUNGATE had a look, saw his teammate coming around the outside and left Magic enough room. Keep an eye on Ben Barker, he's out in that deeper stuff. He's carrying on around turns 1 and 2 in that deeper outside line that has taken a bit of water, so there will be grip building up there. Can't knock Ben Barker here for trying, he's really out in that deep stuff, but so is Rohan TUNGATE. He's holding on to second place at this moment in time. Maciej JANOWSKI out front, looking to carry on that unbeaten run. Matej ZAGAR now, he's just drifting away in 4th place, not looking good for him. It's Ben Barker that is putting it to Rohan TUNGATE in 2nd and 3rd. Maciej JANOWSKI looks like he's got this race tied up. He's checked out, he's got the win. Ben Barker's tried and tried and tried, but he's just not been able to get up there. And I tell you what, it's another 5-1 off of gates 1 and 3 for Maciej JANOWSKI and Rohan TUNGATE. And really now. This meeting is getting away. 3 5-1s on the trot. Has done the damage. And is there any way back now? Maciej JANOWSKI's doing the business this evening, as is Rohan TUNGATE. They come round. A bit of back wheel action from Rohan. There we have it. Maciej JANOWSKI, Rohan TUNGATE, big 5-1 over Ben Barker and Matej ZAGAR. That makes the progressive score 36 points to the Spires and 18 to the Brummies. And all of a sudden, following that track raid after Heat 4, this has just got away from the Brummies. They were doing well until that point, but 3 5-1s on the spin really put this meeting to bed, you would guess. I didn't know if Ben Barker was going to make this work. He's got his back wheel on that grip line there, and just have a look at Rohan TUNGATE. Just looks over his shoulder there a couple of times, sees it's Maciej JANOWSKI there, allows Magic the room around the outside of him. He takes full advantage of that, head down, checks out, the heat was his, and then the battle was Ben Barker and Rohan TUNGATE for that second place, really. There's Jamie Lee on the decks, as he always is. Some sponsors behind him. Made a flyer, Jamie. As did this man in the last one, Charles Wright, the only winner we've had off of gate 2 so far. He's the one that did the business. And as I look down from here, no changes. They'll run into programme. Yep, get them off, they're all excluded. We've got Dan Thompson off the inside in blue for the home side. We've got Keynan REW in yellow off of gate number 2, there we go. We've got Charles Wright in red off of gate number 3. And we've got Jonas JEPPESEN in white off of gate number 4. Now it is 36-18, the meeting has got away from the Brummies. County Plumbing Supplies, they sponsor this one. But would I have expected to see a little change in this one? Possibly. Possibly. But it hasn't come, so we're running to programme. Dan Thompson and Charles Wright looking very good in their last heat. A paid win for Dan and a win for Charles. Up against Keynan. And Jonas, who unfortunately in heat 7 on the wrong end of a 5-1 against RISS and Kildemand. So gates 1 and 3 are really working for the home side. After this, it does swing back towards the away side. They've got 2 and 4 in the next 2 heats, and then again in 13. So, you know, if anything's going to happen, it's got to happen now. But it's going to have to be a monumental change in scoreline for the Brummies to get anything out of this one. But let's see what heat number 10 brings us. Tapes go up. It's a better gate off for 2 from Keynan REW. Jonas JEPPESEN hasn't got away from the start line, but Charles Wright has turned back up the inside of Keynan REW, who just went across 1 and 2. Like I said, you drift across from 1 and 2 and you almost don't go forwards, but I tell you who is going forward, and that is Dan Thompson with his teammate tucked in behind him. Keynan REW is not a million miles away, but it could potentially be another 5-1 here, and that is good night. It's not good night Vienna, it's good night Brummies. Dan Thompson on the outside, Charles Wright on the inside, British pair in here, leading the Aussie Keynan REW. As we come round to the end of lap 2. Keynan's on the gas, he's not a million miles away. Is there a line for him to put it to Charles Wright though? That's the question. He's going to go a little bit further and maybe just try and get his wheels in line a bit earlier than the other 2. But they're riding very clever. Nice bit of team riding. 1 inside, 1 outside from Dan Thompson. And Charles Wright, Keynan, one last move. No, it's a win for Dan Thompson for the home side. Charles Wright in second, Keynan REW in third. And that, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, is that. No coming back from this now. And Thompson with the win. He's proven an excellent guest in that number 2 spot. Jonas JEPPESEN, where he didn't make the first corner. 3 last places for him. Charles Wright back Dan Thompson up for the entire race there. Not a good night for Jonas JEPPESEN. Good night for the home side. Another 5-1, fourth one on the trot. Dan Thompson and Charles Wright take the victory over Keynan REW, who was third there, not Jonas JEPPESEN. And Jonas there didn't make the first turn, so it is 5-1. It's 41-19. And like I say, it is a very, very long way back here for... There we go, Keynan third, Jonas fourth. It's a long way back for the Brummies. So we might just see a... But again, you've got Tobiasz MUSIELAK and Paco CASTAGNA in this room. We see it from the tapes. And Keynan REW made the gate from two. Fair dues, he was in that first turn with the other two. But Charles, fantastic cut back there from 1 into 2. Up the inside, that was Jonas pulling off. And from really, Keynan pushed for 2 or 3 laps. He was on that back wheel. But the front pairing, they cut across each other a couple of times. But you can see there, that was the symmetry. 1 inside, 1 outside. That's how they rode the race. 5-1. So Tobiasz MUSIELAK off the inside in heat number 11, white helmet colour. Gate 2, Erik RISS, red helmet colour for the home side. Paco CASTAGNA, he has won a heat. It's the only points he's got so far. I know he did get third place. He's got 4 points tonight, actually, Paco. He's in yellow off gate number 3. And Peter Kildemand, unbeaten so far. He's in blue off gate number 4. Smiths of Bletchingley, they are our sponsors of heat number 11. And the 1 and 3 gates have switched back now. So Paco and Tobiasz MUSIELAK, they find themselves off those favourable 1 and 3. With Erik RISS and Peter Kildemand moving to 2 and 4. So this will now be a test for the home side. They've been in incredible form. 4 5-1s on the trot, and actually, to be honest, like 5-1 in heat 5, then it was 4-2, 5-1, 5-1, 5-1. So really, that just little block of heats from heat number 5, that track rating when it was 12-12, that's where this has really just disappeared out of sight for the Brummies. But there's always pride to race for. There's obviously an aggregate point to race for. But Oxford are looking in superb form. So let's see what heat number 11, sorry, brings us. The riders are at tapes, they're in line, they're ready to go. Erik RISS, Peter Kildemand, Tobiasz MUSIELAK, Paco CASTAGNA, tapes up on heat 11. Off of 2. Keep an eye, Peter Kildemand, he's coming round the outside of Tobiasz MUSIELAK. Will he go in deep and try and get the run? Castagna's out there as well, he's in that deep stuff. Erik RISS looks over his shoulder, closes that line off. Got a race on here, RISS out front, Castagna second, MUSIELAK third. Kildemand looking to change line to try and put Tobiasz MUSIELAK under pressure in that third spot. Kildamand's gone wider again. Castagna's inside, Kildamand's outside. Erik RISS is looking comfortable out front. I don't think there's anybody's going to catch him. It's whether Peter Kildemand can get up to challenge the 2 Brummies in second and third. Erik RISS is riding that curve. That's the line that he thinks is best at the moment. And it does seem to give him an advantage as he rides it tight round 3 and 4. Paco CASTAGNA just goes across the track there and loses forward traction. Erik RISS has got this in the bag. He's going to take the win. It's going to be a 3-3. They're going to stop the rot, so to speak. But it is just a share of the spoils in that one. Peter Kildamand's unbeaten run comes to an end. Try as he might. Paco CASTAGNA with the second. Tobiasz MUSIELAK with the third. But Erik RISS, another excellent win for him. Just dropped that 1 point so far. Erik RISS. Excellent night for him. There is the tail of heat number 11. They did stop the rot of heat disadvantages. And it is a 3-3. Erik RISS with the win. Paco CASTAGNA second. Tobiasz MUSIELAK third. Peter Kildemand at the back. So 44-24. The meeting is going to be a home win. That's a given. That's been a given for the last few heats, to be honest. But the Brummies come out in that one as we head into the interval. And so yeah, Tobiasz MUSIELAK, one's been gating good, but he just didn't get there. He seemed to spin up a little bit maybe off the start, and that allowed RISS to get over the top of him. I didn't know whether Kildemand could get that run down, but keep an eye on Paco CASTAGNA, because he rides the line that essentially Peter Kildemand will be looking to use. So you can't really go full whack into turn from 3 into 4 when there's a rider in front of you. But he didn't give up. Peter Kildemand in 4th place. He was all over the back. Tobiasz MUSIELAK did have to look a couple of times over his shoulder. And you can see the different lines from RISS in first to CASTAGNA in second there. RISS was really riding that curve going around 3 and 4. Clean up on the back of Rohan TUNGATE there, but with the scoreline 44-24, the meeting and the victory is going to go to the home side. It's just damage limitation now for the Brummies with 4 heats to go. What can they produce? There's the tail from the start lines, which, you know, 8 wins off of 1 and 3 and only 3 off of 2 and 4. That tells the story. Only 9 points coming from gate 4. You don't want to be out there at the moment. Whereas 44 points have come from gates 1 and 3. So, and again, just looking, it's 2 and 4 for the home side in the next one. So in the last 3 programmed heats, it's 2 and 4 a couple of times for the home side, and just the 1 and 3 in heat 13. And then they've got the choice in heat 15, which way they will go. We don't know. So Erik just changing the jet in there. See those screws? They're all tiny. The holes in the centre are all slightly different sizes, and that gives can change the power on the bike a little bit. You'll see that being changed quite a lot. So let's just have a look at the scoreline, and again we'll go top to bottom again. Tobiasz MUSIELAK 3, it's not enough for Tobiasz, that's for sure, but 3 third places, paid for return. 2 good heats and 2 bad heats for Paco CASTAGNA for his 5 points. A night to forget for Jonas JEPPESEN, nothing from his 3 rides. Keynan REW, 4 points, points in every ride, but just not enough from him. 4 points from his 3. Great win first time out, but then a couple of lasts for Matej ZAGAR, and again you need more than that from your 5. Ben Barker, points in every ride, very solid from him at reserve, 5 points, and a couple of third places. I don't know if Sam Hagen's got 2 third places or not. He might just have the 1. Let's have a look at the home side. Charles Wright, after a last in that first one, he's turned it round in 2 unbeaten rides for his paid 6. Dan Thompson, excellent guest, paid 9 for him. He's really coming back to the form that he was in before that injury. He's guested excellent at number 2. Unbeaten, Maciej JANOWSKI, rider of the night so far, you'd say, with paid 9. Rohan TUNGATE, super solid, just that 1 point in his opening ride. And then a couple of wins, one of them paid. Erik RISS, great form, paid 8 for Erik again, just dropped that point in his first one. Solid from Peter Kildemand, 2 wins and then a last to turn that around, and an excellent win in his last one for Killeen, adding that to that 3rd place in heat number 2 for his 4 points. So yeah, I doubt we'll see Jonas for his 4th ride. I imagine Chris Adams will swap him out. He's had his 3 rides that everyone's got to have 3, so he's due out in the next one. But I anticipate we'll probably see that. I think the issue that Chris Adams has got is when you look down your programme, no one's blasting. Ben Barker, he's out in heat 12, so there's no need to switch him around. But you know, did you go with Tobiasz MUSIELAK, who's had 3 third places? Did you go with Paco CASTAGNA, who is on? I think Paco's actually on 6 points. I think he picked up 6. He got a 3rd place. I think he had Sam Hagen. He gifted Sam Hagen a point over Paco CASTAGNA from heat number 8, I think it was. It was a 5-1 to the home side. There's Nigel Tolley and Chris Adams. Penny for your thoughts and your conversation there, guys. What can you do? They can't do anything. You know, they've got on paper riders that are more than capable of winning races. That's the thing, you know. In Tobiasz MUSIELAK, Keynan REW, Matej ZAGAR, they've got riders that can win heats, just not doing it. Just not doing it. And you can afford to carry a couple of riders potentially. And like Chris Adams said in his interview at the top of the show, if you can get 2 riders scoring big, then everybody else can chip in. But sadly for Birmingham at the minute, they just don't have that. They just don't have that, anybody chipping in big, let alone chipping in after. So let's just have a quick look at Sheffield. That meeting that's on BSN this evening. And it's 29-37 to Leicester away at Sheffield, so they're safely progressing in the KO Cup. They'll move into the final of that one. Nobody's unbeaten in that meeting. Chris Holder's got a couple of wins, as is Jack Holder now, so they've both got 2 wins of their rides. But it looks like Leicester will comfortably progress. Thompson's got his 3 points and paid 4 at reserve. Congratulations to Leicester. They're going to move on into the KO Cup final over Sheffield. Sheffield will have to concentrate on the league campaign. They've suffered some bad injuries, obviously losing Ty Woffenden really before he turned the wheel for them. There's a picture. Peter Schroeck smiling in the pits Often see that with the Spires, and you've got to take it when you get it. So we want him to enjoy his evening and the crowd to enjoy it. Unfortunately, the only ones that are probably not enjoying it is the Brummies fans, and there's a little bit of me in Birmingham. I've been worked there for a couple of years, so I don't want to see the team struggling there last year, that's for sure. I want to see Birmingham do well and put up a fight on track. It's just not happening for them today, which is a shame. That man, always a smile, Luke. I was talking to Sam Hagen's dad in the pits earlier on, and we were talking about the mindset of the rising star, because you don't really get any easy heats at reserve nowadays. And like this meeting as an example, you look at the level that Luke Killeen and Sam Hagen are at. The rider they're expected to be is each other. That's what they'll be looking to do, especially on away tracks. You know, it's a bit of a different animal when you're on your home track. But it's just about trying to keep the spirits up of those boys when it is going difficult, and it's taking advantage of a night like tonight for Luke Killeen and really enjoying the moment. It's just Garrett there, obviously a charger last year. Just doing a bit of work there. We tried to have a conversation about the old ignition boxes with Luke Killeen, and to be honest, a couple of, not just Luke, a couple of the riders are like, you know, they go on the bike, but I tend to put it on the bike, it comes on and does its thing. So next time I've got an expert in the pits, in the booth with me, and I'll just pick up on that. In our booth, vantage point, box. Here's a good view, it's a great view here. Here's a great view. Me and Andy do enjoy being up here. Although Andy looks at the screen, I look at the track. Excellent guest Dan Thompson there. He's excelled tonight. Really happy with that. Charles Wright as well. He's come to the party after that opening heat last place. In fact, we did all right up at Bellevue for the Grand Prix. 5 on the first day, 3 on the second day. Tough meetings then. No easy races in the Grand Prix, that's for sure. I know Charles probably would have wanted a bit more from that. There is our vantage point. So the referee's in that bottom right of your screen. We're in that top. There you go. There's me. We're in the top corner there. That's me up there. And there's Andy's handy. That's all you're getting. He's not going to give you a cameo, just a hand. And there's obviously Jamie. There's Rob, our other cameraman. So we're looking good. A bit of a grade. They tend not to do anything in the interval here. Sometimes you see the kids out on track at other places. Glasgow, Scunthorpe, Birmingham, Plymouth. I think the kids out to run around the track. They do a lot of that stuff, which is terrific to see. We don't do it here at Oxford. The other tracks do that religiously, I know, and it's good to see. Plenty of engagement with the kids. So this is a nice view. I don't often get this view while I'm commentating on the Spires, of the boys happy and enjoying the interval. A couple of heavy home defeats. So let's hope that this spurs these boys on and just kicks our Oxford team on. You know, this is going to drag them closer to King's Lynn, closer to 5th place, and then anything can happen. You know, it's obviously 4th they've got to get to, and the top 4 sides are looking a lot more consistent at the moment. But King's Lynn did win here last time out. But, yeah, good mood in the pits. We hope you're enjoying the Speedway. The track has just gone off a little bit maybe in the last few heats. We had 4 really entertaining heats up to that first interval where we saw some pretty good overtaking and some close racing. But I think the form of Oxford in the last few heats. Zagar giving us a dance there with Tobiasz MUSIELAK. It's hard to know what the boys will be discussing, because when it's not your night, it's not your night, and it clearly isn't for them too. You'd expect a lot more from them than 3 points apiece. Paco CASTAGNA, he's on 6. He's had a win, a second and a third and a last. Still in conversation. What do they do about this? What can you do? You know, you look around for a rider, and they've really struggled to bring in a number 1 for Jeppesen Jensen, who disappointingly, left the club, moved away from the team, and it's really surprised me. It did surprise me because riders, an offer obviously came and there's something more attractive for him to go for. But when I saw him up at Birmingham in the first couple of meetings, MJJ, he was really engaged with the rest of the team and he was giving it his all. So it was a big disappointment, I know, when he left. When he left the team. So yeah, two contrasting images at the two ends of the pits at the moment. The happy end, the Spires end, disappointing end is the Brummies end. So there with a Keynan REW on his back is our Oxford cheater Cam Heaps. That's a load of Cam earlier on in the pits. Great to see him back on the bike. He had a really good return to the saddle the other day. He didn't. There was a lot of questions about him not going out for 15 when he was on good form for the cheaters, but it would have just been a step too far for him. He said, look, he really had to push in his fourth ride, and was never going out, you know, for that 15. He just couldn't do it. So that meant that the cheaters had to put Mitch McDermott out, and that was a big ask for him, going from reserve out into that heat 15. There's Michael Hunt, clerk of the course, does all the Grand Prix. Michael. So we're going to see. We've got word up that there is going to be a change in for Jonas JEPPESEN in heat 12, and it will be Paco CASTAGNA, which I think is probably all that Chris Adams can do, to be honest, because Matej Zagar's had 2 lasts after a win. Tobiasz MUSIELAK hasn't troubled a heat win, unfortunately for him. A good friend of mine, Tobias, just not his night. So, and Paco CASTAGNA, another good pal of mine, he comes in for Jonas JEPPESEN. And he has looked good, Paco, he's looked quick. And on this track where that outside line just doesn't seem to be doing the business tonight, you know, that inside line can offer an advantage, and Paco does ride that inside line really, really well. So he's going to find himself up against Maciej JANOWSKI and Lee Killeen. He'll be joined by Ben Barker, who's 5 points from 3 rides. We may well see Ben Barker out again in heat 14. It depends on the mindset of Chris Adams and Nigel Tolley and the management team. You know, you've lost the meeting, that's gone, disappeared. Is it better to give Sam Hagen another ride, give him that opportunity to get back out on track, or do you try and eat into the scoreline with that aggregate point in mind? Damned if you do, damned if you don't sometimes, as Peter Schroeck will well tell you. Can't please everybody, can't please anybody sometimes. But we are 44-22 as we move into the third instalment of this meeting. The opening 4 heats, the first instalment was nip and tuck, 12-12 as we come out the back end of that. But then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heat 1s and a 4-2 in that middle section of the meeting. It's absolutely done the damage for the home side. But they'll be looking to try and get a bit of credibility out of these last few heats, starting with Paco CASTAGNA and Ben Barker. Come out in heat number 12, which is sponsored by Colin Perkins Property Maintenance. Ben Barker, he finds himself off of 1 in the yellow helmet colour, 5 points so far. Maciej JANOWSKI, unbeaten, red helmet colour, gate number 2 for the Spires. Tactical sub, Paco CASTAGNA, 6 points for him so far, not the 5, he's got an extra one there. He's off of gate 3 in the white helmet colour. And Luke Killeen, winner last time out, he'll be in blue off of gate number 4 for the Spires. So they have got the favoured 1 and 3 in this one, Birmingham. That really has done the business. See people enjoying a little bit of inside hospitality there in the bar. Great facilities here at Oxford. If you've never been and you watch the streams, if you can get down here, absolutely do. It's a wonderful stadium, a nice welcome on offer. You can see a nice busy bar. Barney Kennett there on screen. There's Barney, there he is. Hey, there you go, Barney. Obviously Gordon Kennett's brother Rowe, Dave Kennett's brother Rowe, Eddie, his nephew Rowe, Kennett family, wonderful people. Great to see Barney at the Speedway. Tends to be here every week, supporting whatever team is on track. So let's go for heat number 12. Maciej JANOWSKI and Luke Killeen, Paco CASTAGNA and Ben Barker. Say these two are the shining lights really for the away side tonight so far. See if they can add to their scores. like we say, they've got those favoured 1 and 3, which has just produced heat winner after heat winner, and bags the points. What can they do? Up against Luke and Maciej. Tapes up, and Ben Barker's lifted on one. That's given Maciej JANOWSKI a free run into the first turn. Keep an eye on Paco CASTAGNA. He's out in that wider grip line. But Maciej JANOWSKI's looking. Look at Luke Killeen go. He's gone in big, Luke Killeen, down that back straight. Can he carry that run on into 1 and 2? He's got to be careful though, because Ben Barker's up his exhaust pipe. But Luke Killeen is in a real battle. Maciej JANOWSKI, he's out front. He's looking to continue that unbeaten run. But Luke Killeen, Ben Barker, that's a great line, to be fair to Ben Barker. He's come round the outside of Luke Killeen, who was possibly stick or twist there for a moment. Does he try and have a little nibble at Paco CASTAGNA, or does he not and try and hold on to that third? But I tell you what, Luke's gone back out where Ben Barker's done him. Can't knock Luke Killeen for trying here. He's going to get one more opportunity. He's gone big, he's gone wide. He's got that run, he's looking fast. He's got 2 turns. This is going to be exciting. Luke Killeen round the outside of Ben Barker. Will he get the run? He's in the deep stuff. Run to the line. Just can't make it work, but you can't knock him for trying. But I tell you, out front, Maciej JANOWSKI's in great form tonight. Another win for him. Good second for Paco CASTAGNA. Ben Barker holding on for third. So we've got a couple of 3-3s on the spin. Just keeping that score line. As it was, Maciej unbeaten so far. Superb form for him. Was a win for Maciej JANOWSKI. It was a second for Paco CASTAGNA. Ben Barker held on to third from the ever-charging Luke Killeen, who did not stop to the checkered flag, but it was a 3-3, 47-25. Again, they just stem that flow. And that lead doesn't get any bigger. A solid third place for Ben Barker. From the tapes, yeah, Ben missed the start, and that allowed Maciej to get over the top of him. And then from there, Maciej didn't look back, and he had to look forward. And the battle then was Luke Killeen and Ben Barker. Gave us entertainment for 4 laps there. Really putting their back wheel out in that deeper stuff. You can see the inside lighter, powdery more line, and then the deeper, wider outer line. That is where Ben and Luke were doing it. But fair play to Ben Barker. He used that to great effect. Me and Ben actually spoke about that line earlier on. He said, you know, I know you can use turn 4 here. Absolutely did that. So here we go, heat 13, the big heat 13. Charles Wright, red helmet colour, he's off the inside for the home side, paid 6 so far. Tobiasz MUSIELAK, white, captain of the away side, Birmingham, he's paid 4 from his ride so far. Gate 3, Erik RISS, excellent form, paid 8, blue helmet colour. And Matej ZAGAR, just a heat win and 2 last, yellow off the gate number 4. Jamie Lee Sound Enterprises, he sponsors heat number 13. And again, it's a big heat 13, but that 1 and 3 has switched again back on the home side. So when the away side have had it, they have stopped the flow of heat advantages, but they've only been able to nail 3 3s in the last couple of heats. So they've not used it to eat back into the score line. And now it does switch back again to the home side and Charles Wright and Erik RISS. So again, I've said this before tonight, you've got 4 riders all capable of winning this heat. All very much capable of winning it. And heat 13, 6 races so far this season for Oxford in the league, and their averages are 4-2 against, so they don't do very well in this one. But saying that, neither do the Brummies. They've had 5 heat 13 so far this season, and they're 2.4 to 3.6, so essentially, you know, they're a 4-2 down as well. So the Brummies fare slightly better in heat 13 than the Spires do. But it's all on the night, it's all on the gates. It's all on what form the riders are in. This looks like it might go the home way, but Tobiasz MUSIELAK and Matej ZAGAR, they might have something else to say about it. It's a flying start from Charles Wright off of 1. Tobiasz MUSIELAK's on the curb. Will he be able to come up the inside of Erik RISS? No, Erik's got that power. Down the back straight, puts the hammer down, gets himself up into 2nd place. Tobiasz MUSIELAK looking to go a little bit wider. But this is ominous. With a lap gone, it's ominous. Looking fantastic for the home side. It's looking really bad news for the away side. This is not going to be a good outcome. Charles Wright looking fast, Erik RISS looking fast, the home side looking superb out front. Looking really, really quick. Tobiasz MUSIELAK and Matej ZAGAR, they can't get up to challenge. If it stays like this, it's going to be another 5-1 to the home side. Victory well and truly tucked away in that top drawer. All the points are theirs. It's going to be a 4th. 3rd place for Tobiasz MUSIELAK, not what he would expect, not good enough for him. He's much, much better than that. But let's talk about the home side. Big 5-1, Charles Wright, Erik RISS. Excellent stuff from them. Matej ZAGAR didn't complete the race. He pulled up on that last lap. 52-26, that's a massive scoreline, disappointing scoreline. 3 last places for Matej ZAGAR, that'll be disappointing. But Erik RISS, back wheel legs out, great stuff from him. He followed Charles Wright home, who made it from the tapes. Charles Wright with the win, Erik RISS 2nd, Tobiasz MUSIELAK 3rd, Matej ZAGAR 4th, 5-1 to the Spires. 52-26 as we move into the last 2 races. And really, what more can we say? The Spires have been in superb form. You can see the difference in the start there, off of 1 and 3 to Tobiasz MUSIELAK off of 2. Just nothing there. Thought he might challenge a little bit coming up that back straight there, but Erik's in the right line to get the speed to come round the outside. Done and dusted. Literally done and dusted on the opening lap there. So fair play to Chris Adams. He's left Sam Hagen in this one to give him a bit more track time, a bit more exposure. Fair play to them for that. They're not going to affect the scoreline in any way, so I think that's the right thing to do. If I was Chris Adams, I'd have done that same thing, really. Barker's got 6 from his 4 rides. He's done well for the away side. But we are on heat 14. We're going to see a decent pairing in Rohan TUNGATE and Peter Kildemand. Here we go then, heat 14, sponsored by AW Mobs Building Supplies. Keynan REW 4 points, white helmet colour, he's off the inside. Peter Kildemand 6 points, blue helmet colour, he's off gate number 2. Sam Hagen, he's got a point on the board, he's in yellow on gate number 3. And Rohan TUNGATE 6+1, he's really turned it round. And he's in red off of gate number 4, 52-26. And what's been really interesting, the Brummies have just not been on it, you know. We look at heats 11 and 12, we had a winner off of 2 in both of those heats from the home side, so it shows it can be done. They're just not trapping today, the Brummies, they're not at the races. And the scoreline 100% gives us Christina TURNBULL, our referee. She's got 2 heats to get through. It's a relatively straightforward evening for her. Heat 15 picks are going to be a pretty tricky for. So there you go. Look at that screen. They're on screen behind them, and a lad waving. There we go. Spotted yourself now. Good stuff. Right, let's go in heat 14. Rohan TUNGATE and Peter Kildemand for the home side. Keynan REW, Sam Hagen for the away side. Green light comes on. Penultimate race takes go up. It's a whacker off of the inside. Whoa, Peter Kildemand gave Rohan TUNGATE a massive shove, but it might even work to Rohan's advantage if he can get that run down the outside of Sam Hagen. We're going to have some action here in turns 3 and 4 for the first time, because Peter Kildemand and Rohan TUNGATE, they're wide. Keynan REW's up the inside. Keep an eye on Peter Kildemand. He's out in that deeper stuff and he's making it work. He's got the run and he's gone round Keynan REW. Excellent stuff from Peter Kildemand. And I tell you what, Keynan REW's going to have to be really careful, because Rohan TUNGATE, he's got speed as well, and he's going to watch what Peter Kildemand just did to great effect. Keynan REW's having a little look back at the inside of Peter Kildemand there. He just couldn't make it work, but he's going to have eyes in the back of his head here, Keynan REW, as is Peter Kildemand. This is really close as we go into the last lap. REW on the inside, Kildemand on the outside. Who will get their wheels in line and chuck Rohan TUNGATE into the mix here with 2 turns to go? Is Rohan TUNGATE going to make that work round the outside of Keynan REW on a run to the line? And he has! Big 5-1. Keynan REW couldn't have done anything else there. Fantastic speedway from those 3 riders. Sam Hagen, unfortunately, just a spectator at the back. He was in it early on in that first lap. And a great run to the line. Rohan TUNGATE, here we go. This was the run to the line, look. keep an eye. Tungate on the outside, Kildemand on the inside. Keynan REW looking, what can I do? Kildemand, yeah, look at that. Kildemand from Tungate, from REW. It was that close. Even as they were going around turns 1 and 2 after the race, I was like, I'm not sure who won that. But it was Peter Killeen. Here we go. Rohan Tungate from Peter Kildemand. Keynan REW, Sam Hagen, 5-1 to the home side, 57-27. Another 5-1. But it was a heat. It was something to talk about. Fair play to Keynan REW. He was in the mix. Yeah, fantastic stuff. This is the best part of the race, really. It was a great heat for the full 4 laps. Peter Kildemand, he took the win from Rohan Tungate with Keynan REW in third. So it's third win of the night for Peter Kildemand. And apart from his first ride, Rohan hasn't dropped a point either. Let's just get Keynan REW. Another third place for Keynan. He's had 3 of them. And a 4th place for Sam Hagen. Fair play to Sam Hagen for staying in it, that's for sure. And he was in the mix early on in that heat, and then it just drifted away. And the front 3 gave us something to shout about and talk about, and a terrific heat there. So there's Michael Hunt, Chris Adams there, just getting the runners and riders for heat 15. Hopefully we'll have Andy Cam. Andy will be in there. Andy won't be in there. He won't be in there at all. He's sat next to me. Paul will be in there. Trying to see helmet colours. Will Magic take a risk on that maximum, or will he take that maximum? So 2 team managers just get interviewed here. He could go anywhere. The home Peter Schroeck, he could pick any of his riders, to be honest. That's for sure. And for the away side, I imagine we'll see Paco CASTAGNA. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Tobiasz MUSIELAK or Keynan. Well, it's not going to be Jonas JEPPESEN. That's for sure. There's Toby. Food for thought. 4 third places for him. Absolutely more. He's worth more than that. He's better than that. Just not a night for him. Well, that tells us that Charles, isn't it? Because he's taking the helmet in the bag back to the van. So Charles's night is complete. And Charles does finish with 8 paid 9. Only dropped points in his opening ride, unbeaten after that. So yeah, I think we'll see Paco CASTAGNA. Keynan REW's got the top half of his race suit down there, so I don't think we're going to be seeing him. We'll just look up the pits there. Matej ZAGAR. Don't think we'll see Matty. I think that face tells everything we need to know. A win first time out, and then 3 last places for him. Again, like Tobiasz MUSIELAK, he's worth so much more than that. Ben Barker taking a swig of Red Bull. Picking his goggles up, I reckon we might well be seeing Ben Barker. And if he is, fair play to him. Hats off. Rowan's in blue, I just heard that. Paco in white. And Ben Barker. Yeah, fair play to Ben. The home side will take 1 and 3, that's a given. I didn't hear that, but I'm sure they will. It was Rowan. The only rider I missed was the rider in red. I didn't quite catch who was in red, so I'll just scan over and see if I can maybe Paul will spin around. Here we go. Who we got? There's Magic. He's taking that maximum and running by the look of it. Good for him. Excellent night. Paid maximum. Superb performance. So is it Erik? Is Erik our man? I think Erik might be our man if we just swivel to the left. Yeah, we go. Erik's our man. Erik RISS, Rohan Tungate, Paco CASTAGNA, Ben Barker, 1 and 3 for the home side. There's our stats as we look, 5, 3, 4 and 2. So there has been winners across the board now, and the points have evened a little bit, but you can see 28 points and 25 points off of 1 and 3. That's done the damage, that's done the business tonight, especially for the home side. The away side couldn't make that work when they had it at the back end of the meeting. Unfortunately for them. But let's take nothing away for the Brummies, nothing away from the Spires. They've been in excellent form, they've been gating, they've been riding hard. And I think Paco Castagna and Ben Barker are worthy two to come out for the away side. And, Ben Barker maybe just silencing a couple of his critics. There's a few question marks about Ben. But he's scored 6 points from his 4 programme rides. He's got his work cut out to get anything out of this one, but he's more than capable. He finds himself off of gate 4, which is going to be difficult. There's the Oxford boys getting pushed out now. They'll be joining us on track. They've got about 50 seconds to get around to tapes. Their work here is done, as you say, in terms of team victory. But the Rowe and Motor Oil Premiership, they sponsor this heat, heat 15, 9+2 for Erik RISS, he's in red off of the inside. Paco Castagna, excellent 8 points for him. He's off of gate number 2 in white. Rohan TUNGATE paid 10 blue, gate 3 for Oxford. And Ben Barker, 6+1 for him. He will be in the yellow helm colour off of gate number 4. So Rowe Motor Oil, they're the sponsors of the league and of heat 15 here. They will see this meeting through. Only 8 seconds to go. This has been the slower start of all of these, really. Here we go with the boys with tapes. Okay, let's go, big boys. Give us something to shout about. 1 heat to go. Tapes go up on heat 15, and it's an even break. Good start from Castagna. He just gave TUNGATE a little push, but will he make that work down the back straight? Rohan TUNGATE, I think he's gonna. Erik RISS is out front. Ben Barker's out in that deep stuff as well. Really good looking turn 3 and 4 there with the boys covering all 4 elements of the track, but it is the Spires that are out front. It's Erik RISS, it's Rohan TUNGATE. Paco Castagna was in the mix there, but he's now drifted to the back. Ben Barker just comes across from inside to outside. 4 or 5 bike length gap from the Spires to the Brummies here. And I think my shouting is done. I think I will calmly talk you through the rest of this heat, because with a lap to go, this one is again well and truly done and dusted. They've already been put to bed. They've been in great form, these two, Rohan TUNGATE and Erik RISS. They will see this home comfortably, and the home crowd will carry these two home for another 5-1. Rohan TUNGATE with the win, Erik RISS with another paid second. Ben Barker picked up the 3rd place from Paco Castagna in 4th. That 5-1 crosses the 60-point barrier for the home side, and sadly that 1 point doesn't get the home side to the 30-point line. There we go, Rohan TUNGATE with the win, Erik RISS in 2nd, Ben Barker in 3rd, Paco Castagna 4th. 5-1 for the home side again, 62-28. What a terrific night for the home side, for the Spires. Bit of back wheel from Erik, he's been in excellent form, as has Rohan tonight. That's the Rohan of last season, he's the one that started the year at number 1. He's been capable of that all year, he's certainly done that business. So let's just run through the scores from top to bottom. Disappointing looking Birmingham Brummies scorecard. 4+1 for Tobiasz MUSIELAK, 3rd places for him. Paco Castagna, he's finished the night with 8 points from his 6 rides, a win and a couple of solid seconds. Jonas JEPPESEN, less said the better for him. Night to forget, no points from his 3 rides. Keynan REW, points in every ride, but just the 5 from his 4 rides. Matej ZAGAR, started like the Matej ZAGAR we know he can be, but then followed that with 3 last places, so his 3 points. Ben Barker, top scorer alongside Paco Castagna, 7 paid 8 for him. Excellent return to the Brummies. And Sam Hagen, just a point there when he beat Killeen in that 2nd ride. And then struggled in his other 3 rides. And for the home side, well, that's a much better picture, isn't it? Charles Wright unbeaten in his last 3 rides to get his 8+1. Dan Thompson, solid throughout. 8+1 for him from his 4 rides. point in every ride. Unbeaten, Magic Man, Maximum Man, Maciej JANOWSKI, 11 paid 12. Rohan TUNGATE, again apart from that first ride, unbeaten by an opponent, 12 plus 1 for him. Erik RISS, first ride, after that unbeaten, 11 plus 3 for his 14 points. Peter Kildemand, apart from that third race last place, 8 plus 1 for his 9 points. And excellent win in there for Killeen, and done his job from reserve, 4 points for him, giving us a final scoreline today of 62-28 to the Spires as they take a lap of honour. Sharing machines, taking in the applause. Congratulations to them, a much needed win for the home side. That does edge them up that table, not in terms of position but in terms of points. That will bring them a little bit closer to King's Lynn in 5th place. So from myself, Lee Kilby, Rob and Paul on camera, Andy in here. Didn't have Laura tonight, she's sunning herself on a beach somewhere. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed the stream. Like I said earlier on, we're here if TNT and BSN aren't, so join us. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Congratulations to the Spires and good night.